today's news, the government relaxes COVID-19 protocols. Premier and minister make announcements. The opposition addresses the COI, and BIRCH LETTSOME speaks to 284 about being selected as vice chair. All these and more when 284 returns.
Yo, everything good there?
Aye. This thing got me one way, daddy.
What do you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What do you really? Hey, this ain't like you know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home. Keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I huff. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
Welcome viewers, I'm Nia Douglas coming to you live from the beautiful British Virgin Islands. It's Thursday, April 14th, and I'd like to thank you for tuning into 284 News tonight. Starting off today's news, the Minister for Health and Social Development, Honorable Carvin Malone, announced yesterday that masks are no longer required to be worn outdoors and also lifted the quarantine requirements for passengers arriving into the territory and more. Take a look.
Over the last 2 years, the territory has had to cope with the effects of COVID-19 pandemic and the measures to keep us safe. Worldwide, the world have witnessed a shift from the more aggressive Delta variant to a less aggressive, but more infectious Omicron variant. Severe diseases, hospitalization, and death have decreased considerably. Vaccines offer some protection from the serious effects of COVID-19, particularly in those amongst us who are vulnerable. There have been worldwide trend to relax public health measures, even in the face of increasing infections in light of the changing dynamics of the impact of COVID-19. Locally, vaccination remains available for those who may be vulnerable, and the public has the awareness and tools to prevent COVID-19 infections. Our health services have the resources required to handle COVID-19 infections, and rapid testing is widely available to the public. The major gateways to the Virgin Islands have varying requirements for testing prior to arrival in the Virgin Islands. Worldwide, 93 countries no longer have any testing requirements, and 80 require tests for entry, with 10 still having entry quarantine and 24 having restrictions for non-residents. The BVI is therefore, at this time, removing all quarantine requirements for passengers arriving in the territory. I repeat, the BVI is currently removing all quarantine requirements for passengers arriving in the territory. Partially and unvaccinated persons will present an entry of PCR test within 5 days of arrival and tests on arrival by rapid antigen test, and once negative, enter freely in the Virgin Islands. So here we have it. Unvaccinated persons present your PCR test conducted within 5 days, and on entry you would have the negative test of the rapid antigen test. 2, fully vaccinated persons who present on entry a rapid antigen test within 48 hours of arrival will continue to enter without being tested, and those who do not have a test within 48 hours will be rapid tested on entry and released upon once negative. Meaning there again, that if you missed your flight and you're now 25 hours, 36 hours, normally the CMO and I would have had to take this and then give the approval. But now you can be allowed to enter and have the rapid test conducted here on arrival. There will no longer be a requirement for PCR testing on entry, which is wholly replaced by antigen testing. This removes the inconvenience and the wait for negative results to be released from quarantine the next day. We will be looking further in terms of not having to fill the portal, but we have to get that in place first. We have to get that word out first, because we will say it here and then it take weeks before it reaches around the world. So we will be looking at that, and that will be in for consideration very shortly. The requirements to limit gatherings in indoor spaces to 1 person per 9 square feet is also being lifted. Masks are now not legally required to be worn when outdoors in open spaces, but persons can continue to choose to do so for their own personal protection. Masks will only be legally required in indoor public spaces when within the 3 feet of other persons, not from your household or your particular bubble. Businesses can, however, choose to require masks within their spaces for their own health and safety if they desire. Requirements for business to have hand hygiene readily available will continue.
The minister also noted that the BVI Gateway portal will remain active at this time, as there is a need for it to be phased out over time. In other news, today the Premier and Minister of Finance, alongside Honorable Carvin Malone, Minister for Health and Social Development, addressed the territory in 2 separate special announcement remarks. Honorable Malone reiterated the relaxing of protocols formally announced last night, adding that all other protocols will remain in effect because, in his words, we are not out of the woods yet.
We will continue to follow public health guidelines in this particular regard. We must continue to protect the population, and that would be explained to you fully. A much greater degree of personal responsibility will now be required. We are opening up even more our economy, even more so than most places, because we hear folks speak of what other places are doing. They are saying this without knowing. We are given the report, so we know exactly that portal registration is required for United States Virgin Islands. We know what is required in all of the supporting ports that either our customers come from or that we travel to. So we'll continue to be vigilant in the best interest of the Virgin Islands. Government has invested millions of dollars preparing the facilities and keeping us safe. While our detractors seek to undermine what has been accomplished, your safety continue to be foremost on our minds and on these decisions. We are not out of the woods. Each of us must continue to do our part. All other protocol measures must continue. You must wash your hands. You must sanitize properly. You must clean surfaces often. You must cover your sneeze. And do not shake other hands with dirty fingers. The fact is that if you're sick, if you're sneezing into your hand, don't come and shake mine. Because this is a common sense approach to where it is. We've had cold and flu on the run for the past 2 years because we have sanitized, we have cleaned surfaces. I don't see anyone cleaning doorknobs anymore. I don't see anyone cleaning rails anymore. But these are the things that if we continue to do, then the cold, the flu, the fever, this will all be stuff that will continue to be on the run. So we have a part to play. We must continue to play this part.
The Premier's announcement was centered around the economic impact of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Take a look.
You can therefore continue to trust in your government and in our public officers as we continue to deal with the latest challenges brought on by the conflict in Ukraine. And as I said, your government is paying attention to what is happening on the international scene, as well as on the ground here in the Virgin Islands. We hear your concerns, and we have been making the relevant adjustments to help you to get relief. You would recall that on 25th March 2022, As Premier and Minister of Finance, I announced an economic stimulus where all customs duties on imports that are above 5% will be reduced to 5% starting 15th April 2022 for the next 3 months in the first instance. Goods and services that are currently at 5% or less will remain the same. I repeat, goods and services that are currently at 5% or less will remain the same. This policy will apply to businesses as well as private citizens. Additionally, I announced that the import duty on diesel and gasoline would be reduced by 50% of their current rate from 22 cents to 11 cents per imperial gallon for diesel and from 32 cents to 16 cents per imperial gallon for gasoline. As I explained on a prior occasion, and here is just one example, if a person imports a motor vehicle costing $30,000 including shipping, where the regular import duty would have been 20% or $6,000, under this initiative the duty will be capped at 5% and they would pay the reduced duty of only $1,500 during the period of this stimulus initiative. This would be a $4,500 savings on that one purchase. Imagine if any car salespersons in particular takes advantage of this initiative and purchases 10 cars at $30,000 each. They would be experiencing a savings of $45,000 overall, which must be passed on to the consumers. Similarly, when it comes to importing food, clothing, construction materials, marine supplies, and equivalent, vehicle parts, products for senior citizens, and all other items, even those involved in the tourism industry, where the regular custom duty is over 5%, persons and businesses will now only pay 5%, and this will lower the overall cost of importing the item. I'm happy to advise that on 13 April 2022, Cabinet approved these reductions in import duties. I am confident that all legislators in the House of Assembly will have no problem supporting these measures that will give you, the people of the Virgin Islands, some relief in these trying times.
Up next, members of the opposition address the COI. This story and more when we return.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up, start the day. Maybe it's sheer grit. Maybe it's your ethics. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. We all have our reasons, and for Republic Bank, that reason is you. Every little thing, every big thing. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you. We're here to help.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Hello?
Wait, you had a lunch and get? You don't say you were sick? What happened to our wedding rehearsal?
No, babe. I'm actually watching the news right now. Take a listen.
Topping our newscast today, UFOs seen around Tortola Pier Park.
And District 3 residents outraged over no water supply. They simply cannot bathe. These and more stories when 284 News returns.
All right, babe, just get some rest, take 2 Advil, and I'll
See you later. Bye.
Okay, honey. I see you later. I love you.
It's clear to see that Coconut Lounge is a place to be, the coolest cocktail lounge in the British Virgin Islands. A lounge like no other, with welcoming, professional service, and a breathtaking ambiance, not forgetting a diverse selection of wines, beers, and signature cocktails. Cozy, comfortable, contemporary. Coconut Lounge at Tortola Pier Park. Visit us today.
You value traditions. Today. You value music. You value education. Family. I love you. Service.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Welcome back, viewers. At a recent press conference, members of Her Majesty's loyal opposition addressed the COI. In particular, the leader of the opposition and District 8 Representative, Honorable Marlon Penn, called for the modernization of legislation. Take a look.
What I would say is that we've been operating under a report, legislation that's over 200 years old. We need to modernize our commission inquiry report in terms of moving forward. We have to make sure that we are not at a disadvantage in any type of discussion in terms of any type of assessment of our country, to make sure that Viva and Viva Islanders are not disenfranchised in the process, make sure that there's a clear and transparent process going forward, and that means modernization of our legislative framework for moving forward. There were some structures that were put in place. I think they were important for us to have a structured approach to how the investigations took place. So in hindsight, it's 2020, there could always be things that could be done better. But my focus is on the way forward in terms of what is going to come out of the actual report. And moving forward as a country, we need more modern legislation if we're going to deal with particularly potential commission inquiries in the future.
Honorable Julian Fraser also spoke at the conference and had much to say about the COI and the European perception of corruption in general.
Regarding whether or not the process was a fair one, I think that there was a lot to be desired. The premise upon which it was established, the COI, I think the documents that they used in order to conduct this investigation needed to be fact-checked before they started the investigation. It came across as if they took whatever was in those documents to be gospel, and it was far from being the case. So from that standpoint, whomever was being subjected to the COI started out at a disadvantage, and that should not have been the case. Now, if you talk about our practices as they are today, I think that we are practicing based on customs and tradition, and if it comes across as corrupt or to be nepotism or whatever the case might be, that is what it has been. From we are practicing under the principles of traditions that we have established over the years. It's not that someone went out intentionally to do something. You got to remember that the Europeans keep shifting the goalposts as to what is and what isn't. When it's good for them, it's all right. When it's in someone else's favor, there's something wrong with it. And you can remember that when they start talking about money laundering, that only took place after places like the BVI took off in the financial services sector. Granted, these very same practices were being conducted in those parts of the world for eons, centuries, decades. But as soon as we got into a position where we are moving into the financial services sector, you hear these new terminologies like terrorism financing, money laundering, corruption, and what have you. So we have to play by their rule book, except that they don't give us a chance to adjust. They just spring it on us one time. We just came out of the UK, and we were basically literally taken to task about Russian oligarchs having business registered in the BVI. Now, our trip to the UK had absolutely nothing to do with the government. It was strictly one to do with the legislature. But this politician took the advantage of seeing us and took us to task. And I even heard that he went into the House of Lords talking about it. So you can see, you need to have a good look at how they see us. Another politician thought that Barbados was out of character to go and become a republic. It's like, what are we and who are we? We have no right to do anything for ourselves. We have no right to think. And we have to be mindful. When you look at me as 3rd District Representative, you can hate me. You can hate me all you want. But remember, when you do that, you're hating yourself as well. And that's how the rest of the world see us. When we look at each other, we have to look at how the world is looking at us. And we need to support what's best for our future. We need to support what's best for our country. And it doesn't matter who's doing it at the time. As long as it's good, let's support each other.
In other news, 2 new appointments were recently announced by the Virgin Islands Festival and Fairs Committee to the posts of Chairman and Deputy Chairman. New Chairman Mr. Dirk Walters has replaced Mr. Khalid Fret, whose appointment expired officially on March 26, 2022. New Vice Chairman Mr. Birchfield LETTSOME replaces Mrs. Violet De Castro, whose appointment expired on March 26 as well, 2022. 284 News recently caught up with the new Vice Chair himself, who said that he is honored by his appointment. Take a listen.
I'm honored, man. I'm honored by the appointment. I've been very vocal in the past about festivals, about just the entertainment industry on a whole, and being given the opportunity to, create change and make some leadership decisions. It's a blessing, and I look forward to it. It's going to be a tough journey. It's not going to be a simple and straightforward or easy one, but I'm definitely looking forward to it.
LETTSOME also shared with us what he brings with him to the new role.
Well, one thing that I bring to the role is many years of experience. I've been in the entertainment industry, I would consider my entire life, whether it be with radio or performances or managing events, logistics for events and these kind of stuff in the BVI, around the Caribbean, in the US, and of course in Europe. So it's a vast network of persons that I would have been working with over the years, and just understanding things from each other perspectives, from the organizer perspective, as an artist, as a supplier or a vendor. These different things, being able to understand and relate to all of these different people, I think would be something that I would definitely bring to the role.
Noting that there are some who may be skeptical about having a festival this year, LETTSOME notes that while we have priorities as a country, we can address multiple things at once and have the structure which supports this.
People are skeptical about having festival this year. I personally think, man, that sometimes what happens is we know that we have to have priorities, right? We know that priorities exist. And sometimes we feel that we can only do one thing or the next. But that's the reason why we have many different departments. That's the reason why we have many different things. If the Virgin Islands Festival and Fairs Committee is tasked with making sure that we have festivals, I think we should. It's a time for celebration. It's a time for us to. It still helps stimulate the economy as well. So there's also time for that. There's a lot of people that depend on festivals to make an extra dollar here and there. It is an influx of tourism. It's people coming back home who haven't been for some time. It's people that probably would have moved just right after Alma, having the opportunity and a reason and activities to be involved in. It's great for our culture. It's great for our morale. It's great for our economy. It's great for the entertainers. It's great for the hotels and the rental companies and families and just even your regular resident. Festival is obviously a lot more than just what you see might happen in the village in the evening time. There's also a lot of cultural activities that I know that we're looking forward to having. So yeah, I just say, man, come out and enjoy the festival. Come out and enjoy festival. Come out and enjoy festival. Don't be skeptical about it. We're going to try our best to make sure that it is done in a very prudent way, in a very economical way, and let's come out and celebrate for Festival 2022.
In addition to the chair and vice chair appointments, Ms. Luz Sanchez now serves as the committee treasurer. Ms. Sanchez is an experienced corporate professional whose background encompasses financial services and customer service. Well, that's it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 284media.com and like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Nia Douglas. I'll see you again tomorrow as we deliver your daily dose of local, regional, and international content. 284 News, your source for honest and impartial news, right here on 284 Media. Happy Thursday, everybody. Have a great evening.
Yo, everything good, Dad? Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What do you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What do you really? Hey, this ain't like you know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I hustle. I watching ball. I even watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works. Brilliant Hands and Minds Tutoring Services. One-on-one tutorials in math and English, intense homework assistance, academic enrichment, school projects, effective communication and public speaking development, sign language for adults and children on Saturdays only. Registered with the Virgin Islands High School Certificate Program, Brilliant Hands and Minds can help you too. Offering intense curriculum-based training to help you or your loved ones get their high school diploma. It's time to make your family's education a #1 priority. Hurry, space is limited. Brilliant Hands and Minds Learning Center. We are the trained education professionals.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, son.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut fun people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you?
Yes.
You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.